My name is Joshua Nathan Davey, and for the past 4.5 years, I've been pursued by organized crime. Um, it happened shortly after 2020 or 2021. I went down to visit my dad while he had cancer, bladder cancer. I just found out, and so I was like, I'm gonna go down, visit him and stuff. And then I ended up, staying down there and, partying it up with him and taking him to his doctor's appointments and stuff. Well, this is like my best friend forever. He was my first job, was working with him when I was like 14. Also, many years, getting up in the morning, going to work, going home, smoking weed, talking about women, everything. Best friend. Well, while I was down there, he set me up to be robbed by this drug dealer down there, Ben Nielsen. So I immediately knew that, he wouldn't do that. So I figured that he was being pressured by Ben, the drug dealer. Maybe he owed him money or, something like that. Usually my dad would have come to me though and said, hey, I owe this much, and we would have just taken care of it. Or my sister, or, anybody else in the family if it was a money thing. But this guy, I'll tell you why I thought that, because after that, I went over to my brother's house and my sister-in-law's house. And I'm drinking it up and stuff like that. And they get into a conversation about Ben extorting people. So, like, getting them to do favors for drugs. And then, getting it on recording and then blackmailing or extorting people or whatever. To be honest, my brother's not the most reliable source of information, but just with, how I know my dad wouldn't do that. He's a family first person 100% of the time. Like, he would make a lot of sacrifices himself just to not burden family, so anyways, so that happens. I go to the gas station to go pick up, a couple more beers and stuff like that, while I run into a police officer while I'm there. And so I filed a report. I'm just like, hey, my dad is telling me that this guy set me that set me up or tried to rob me. He is blackmailing or pressuring my father to assist in the endeavor, kind of thing. And so I filed that police report. When I come back up to Magna, Utah, so I'm back up north, like 120 miles away, there's somebody waiting for me at my house. So there's somebody runs up to my car door and is like, hey, are you arriving or just leaving? I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, just arriving and stuff. And then all of a sudden, people are just driving around my house, like, fuck you, and stuff, like, hardcore fucking with me. And so, anyways, that's kind of how it started. And then, I left, ended up staying with somebody, a family member, and, here or there, kind of thing, like, kind of moving around because they found me at 3 different jobs. I probably should have left the state of Utah a little bit sooner, but, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's too late. But, so everything was like, it seemed manageable, like, as long as I didn't go into, dark alleys, at night, kind of thing. Like, as long as I stayed in public, I stayed around people and stuff like that, I was okay. Until about, I would say 2-3 months ago, they changed tactics. They started slandering me to like everybody. They contacted my employer again, but they're, telling, like, I was next to a school is where I worked, and I slept in the parking lot next to there. Well, all of a sudden kids start coming by and they're throwing like Hitler salutes at me and stuff like that, like calling me, racist, I guess, but doing like, hey, kind of thing. And then, a couple of the employees at some of the businesses I went to, like Gunny's, and stuff, because I was going to buy ammo one day, and I went to the closest register to me, and that time it just happened to be a guy, and so both him and the female clerk, like, got mad at me, calling me a sexist. Like, I know that she's not a man, but she can still ring you up, like, just crazy shit. Buzzwords, a lot of buzzwords. But anyways, so that's going on, and I thought that it was just kind of like local. Like, I thought it was, around where I was at, because I thought that they were just trying to make it uncomfortable for me to be there, and so that I would, leave, get out of that situation, go do, go somewhere else. But after I'd saved up enough money to be able to leave, to be able to, jump state, go someplace else, I go to the airport, and I notice that all of them are treating me like I'm the horrible human being, like I spit in their face. And it's just like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, really? So, anyways, so I believe that was a tactic so that they could gain assistance in, like, getting my flight numbers, where I was landing, stuff like that, because the same situation repeated itself like clockwork at every airport that I went to. And I know it wasn't like a before thing, like it's like a local, like, rumor being started, or like local happening, because I watched it in front of my eyes when I got to DC. So when I got to DC, I rented a hotel room. When I went over to the hotel room, there's National Guard there. So the National Guard, while I was there, was receiving, like, where are these, they're asking, like, where are these rumors coming from and stuff like that. So I know that it was, like, happening, like, as I was, going there, kind of thing. But anyways, craziness happened. So while I was in DC, my phone was stolen that had, like, videos kind of similar to what this one is, but, like, they were, like, contingency videos. Like, so if something happened to me and I couldn't dial 911, then it would, release a video, and then, there would be a trail to follow, kind of thing. But anyways, that happened, and, I've so I contacted, people in, the FBI and stuff, and said, don't look into this. I don't have access to that phone or that account. They're contingency videos, kind of thing. But anyways, it's been like that everywhere I go. Even here, I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire, arguably the safest state in the nation. And I get here, and sure enough, they've contacted the employees that work here, and I contacted the sergeant here to let them know that they were going to be contacted. So even though I contacted them first and, talked to the sergeant was, I guess, telling one of the workers or whatnot and stuff that he's got to worry about the safety of, others, kind of thing. So if he was talking about me, it was in the context of, like, there's nothing I can do to help about that. But so I'm trying to document as much as I can and stuff like that. But if you go to my flight logs, or like where I flew to, and you look over the cameras, you'll be able to see people keeping track of me, workers from the airline, and you can ask those people, you know, what was said or something like that. Like you'll definitely be able to put together the picture of a coordinated effort to, you know, slander me and isolate me. It's working great. But yeah, I just want there to be like you can definitely, there's pieces of the puzzle everywhere, so even if you don't get all of my footage, you'll be able to, you know, at least get an idea of, out to, you know, the public or whatever, of like how everything went down, you know, what was going on, kind of thing. But yeah, I will keep you guys posted, and hopefully, I don't know, I can get baptized first before I go. Appreciate you guys.